Hey guys, it's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another Black History slash low rated movies month. This is a movie that's high rated, so this is a Black History movie month. And someone on YouTube, a nice guy here, asked me if I could review the Beverly Hills Cop franchise. You know, there's up to three films so far, and they're trying to work on a fourth film, but we have to see if Eddie Murphy is game. I hope he is, because I would love to see a fourth movie. And but this is the first one. This is the best of the series, definitely without question. It's one of the funniest comedies of the '80s, and this is really the second big uh, action comedy that Eddie Murphy did in the early '80s that really cemented his spot. The original Beverly Hills Cop. Love that score. That soundtrack is amazing in the movie. I love the soundtrack. I love the cast in this movie. This movie is very funny. Eddie Murphy, this is in his prime. Screw Kevin Hart. This is the real shebang right here. The man that ruled the '80s comedy, era. One of the guys, especially one of the black guys that was funny in the '80s. Kevin Hart wasn't even around yet, or Chris Rock, or these other guys. But this movie is a lot of fun. Really good plot. Basically, Eddie Murphy plays Axel Foley, a street smart Detroit cop tracking down his best friend's killer in Beverly Hills. Axel quickly learns that his wild style doesn't fit in with the rest of the Beverly Hills Cop Police Department. When assigned two officers, Judge Reinhold and Josh Ashton, really two good, really good actors that have a nice rapport with Eddie Murphy. A he's bananas. He does things unorthodox. There's a scene that he puts a banana in their tailpipe. It's hilarious. That's just hilarious. He tricks them with getting them food, and then he does that trick. It's just antics galore to make sure things don't get out of hand. Dragging the stuffy detectives along for the ride, Axel smashes through a huge culture clash in his hilarious high speed pursuit of justice, featuring cameos by Paul Reiser, Bronson Pinchot, he's funny as Serge. I like that actor. He does a lot of accents, but he's really good at it. I think he's really funny. He has a lot of moments in the film. And you got Damon Wayans. This is before he did the Lethal Weapon TV show that came out, or My Wife and Kids, or a lot of other action comedies that he did in the '80s and the '90s. And it says Beverly Hills Cop is an exhilarating side-splitting adventure. Yeah, and originally Cobra was supposed to be this movie. Originally, that Axel Foley was supposed to be doing what Cobretti, Sylvester Stallone did in Cobra. The films came out around the same time, so that's kind of why. But the film is really funny. It's not that long. It's 105 minutes. It goes by real quick. It didn't feel that long. Uh, One nitpick I have is that the film doesn't really have a female lead. Like it doesn't have a not a female lead. I'm saying a sidekick. Like a supporting actress. There's a woman in the movie, but she's not in the film that much. I'm not saying the SJW. Let's just do this movie, remake it, and put a female cop, black cop. That doesn't work to me. I'm saying a supporting character that Eddie Murphy could have had more scenes with. Uh, there's a girl in it. I forgot what her name was, but she's in the film for a bit, so she's not really a main character, just a side character that pops up. But this is R rated. It's funny. It's a film from 1984, the year before I was born. Really good comedy. Just Eddie Murphy is just balls to the wall, cussing up a storm. Being unorthodox, being loud with people. Just I don't remember all the jokes because it's been a long time since I've seen this movie, but it's held up. This does not need a remake. Hollywood, don't try to reboot this or remake this. I would love to see a fourth film and repair some of the damage that was done after three. I like three as a guilty pleasure, but it didn't feel as R rated as this one or the second one. But I still don't hate that movie, and I'll get to that one next time. But the first one is a classic. It's very funny. The action sequences work when they're there. It's R. It doesn't hold back with a PG-13 like the ride along films. Screw those movies. They couldn't hold a candle to this film or the sequels. Because as much as three is flawed, it's better than Ride Along and Ride Along 2. Because that movie's just not funny. There's no stupid humor, like there's no toilet humor or freaking there's sex jokes, but it's nothing like they don't mention penis every 5 minutes. There's one scene I think they're in the strip club that's either in this one or in the second one. It's like, don't be ashamed if your dick gets hard. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That, exactly. I say that every time I see a beautiful woman. I'm not gonna be ashamed of that. But this is a funny movie. If you have never seen Beverly Hills Cop, see this. It's better than any comedy you're gonna see this year, R rated, and with the man himself, Eddie Murphy, being just a comedic gem of an actor. And it was a surprise hit. Nobody expected this to be as big as it was, or spawn two sequels, or be as funny as it was, because Eddie Murphy was already funny before this. He did 48 Hours, and what's it, Trading Places, and he was on Saturday Night Live, so he already had experience. But this is his crowning achievement when it came to the 80s. And a lot of people were wanted him to be in this films. His laugh it's just amazing. The soundtrack, like I said, that theme song for this, I will always remember it in all the films. It's in all three of them, thankfully. And the villain, I don't really remember who the villain was in this movie. That's one thing I don't really kind of iffy on, that I don't remember who the actor that played the villain. In the sequel, it's with Jurgen Prochnow, and then in the third one, it's an actor that plays a character named Ellis DeWall. That's definitely the most recognizable villain for me in the three films. But this is a good film. I can say that I honestly, this is a really funny comedy. It's a good action film at times. The jokes work. The cast works. It's aged well. Normally, comedies from the 80s, some of them don't age well, but this one does. It's still funny. Eddie Murphy is still on fire, rocket fire. One-liners and zingers, and just it doesn't it get it's un-PC'd, and I love that about comedies from the 80s. It's un-PC'd. It's really funny, and the film has some features. I like this artwork. That's him on the disc, and this is him with Judge Reinhold and with John Ashton, who after the second film he disappeared. That's him with the girl, but she's not in the film that much. She's cute. She's a cute little blonde, and it's basically a good fun action comedy that works well. And I think that for after over 32 years, and it's still, or 33 years, and it's still a funny as hell comedy, and it's welcome in my collection, because I cannot do better than this, especially with Eddie Murphy in his prime. This was before Norbit and all that garbage he did in the 2000s and the 2010s. But I wish Eddie Murphy would come back. He's just hilarious. He needs to be on PC'd. If they do a part four, don't make it PG-13. Just let Eddie do his thing. Get a good script. Let him just curse as much as he wants to. Have some good action sequences. You don't have to bring Judge Reinhold or John Ashton back. You don't need them back, because Ashton retired, and Judge Reinhold, he does film still, but he's getting older. So I just want Eddie to be funny again. If they do like a Live Free or Die Hard, I would welcome that with open arms, because that brought back a character we loved in John McClane. It was just as badass as the third one, and it took over a decade, and it was worth the wait. This, I would love to see a fourth one done right. Hopefully, Hollywood gets their head out of their ass and they actually do it right, and not make it some BS PG-13 excuse of a film. But Beverly Hills Cop, the first one, is really good. Everything works in it. There's some things that I don't remember, like the villain and some of the jokes, but it's still good enough to watch. Definitely a recommendation. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, liking, commenting. I read all my comments except for any spam, and I'm going to review what I want. The next one will be Beverly Hills Cop 2, which is definitely an underrated sequel, because some people say it's not in the same league as the first one, but I disagree. I still think it's very funny. Um, and Eddie Murphy's in all three films, so that's one thing that's consistent with all three films. And basically, the films as a trilogy, it works. I would like to see a fourth film. Hopefully it gets made and not more reboots, because we do not need this to be remade. You cannot do better than this. You're not going to get Kevin Hart in an R-rated film saying dropping F-bombs, and remaking it with crappy jokes that in a stand-up. No, that will not work. Keep this as it is. Do not remake it. Just do a fourth one and end it at that. Eddie Murphy has to be in it, or no deal. Anyway, that's my review for Beverly Hills Cop. It's a good movie. Watch it with your friends. Have some laughs. Enjoy it for what it was. 80s nostalgia, but done the right way. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.